10 tonight in upstate city working to revitalize its downtown. Seneca received millions of dollars from grants and the state to help.
Now, Fox County's Zach Poletsky stopped by to check out the progress. Zach.
Well, Justin and Tori, the city has gotten about $25 million in both grants and state funding over the last few years for this revitalization. And the goal is to turn downtown Seneca into a destination. Driving through downtown Seneca years ago was much different for Dawn Freeman.
It didn't have much life, back in the 90s at all.
But then in 2017, things changed.
To see what's going on at every corner has been incredible. We need to own a building downtown. It's just beautiful here.
Freeman did just that and has done more since. Opening a wine and bourbon bar downstairs a year ago, and then a butcher shop a few weeks ago. She's been in the thick of the city's effort to revitalize downtown, which started in 2018.
We've already seen an impact and we're hopeful that it will continue.
Right now, construction is underway on a mixed-use development called Harper's Plaza.
Our government wants downtown to be a destination place.
Designs for a new 700-plus seat performing arts center are ongoing, and there are plans to put an amphitheater in the downtown park.
The downtown area has become a priority for economic redevelopment to engage the community into its downtown area again to help support the businesses.
This month, the city learned it would be getting $12 million from the state, money that will be used to build a parking garage.
It definitely increased the workforce in our downtown, the quality of life.
Officials hope downtown Seneca will continue to grow for years in the future.
A very healthy, vibrant, community and family-centered downtown district.
Now, there is no timetable on when these four major projects will all be done, but city officials say they are pushing along as fast as they can. For now, reporting Zach Poletsky, Fox Carolina News.